slower, or was that just me?
I was about to ask. That felt so slow.
Did chat notice that, or is that just us? That was like slow-mo. I was worried.
Like, the countdown was fine.
What's wrong with your computers, guys? I know it's not me.
Listen, man, I got a NVIDIA GTX something.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
It's not me.
Well, hey guys. Sorry for the aside there. Welcome to Star Wars on High. We are here for the Thursday night live stream, the slow-mo Thursday night live stream. Let us know down in chat how you guys are doing this Thursday. It has been, what, it's been a week? Did we miss a week last week of being able to stream?
We did.
That's right.
Every week you don't do it, or we don't do it. I feel like it feels like a hole, in my heart. It feels like we've missed a valuable part of the week.
I feel like I've wasted my day if I don't do this stream. You want to blame me? Well, you're blaming the wrong guy. You spelt my name wrong. Joke's on you, son.
Jimmy, do you even put your name? Do you put it in the? Let's look here. Let's see. Oh, there it is. The IE Jimmy. The IE Jimmy.
If you spell it with a Y, it's short for James. My name is not James, therefore IE.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating. We learn new things every day. Learn new things every
That's
day.
fascinating. I don't care. Welcome to Star Wars on High.
Well, guys, welcome. We are obviously in a good mood today. It's been a fun week. We have some stories to talk about. I will tell you right now, I have a new camera plugged in. So if in the middle of the stream I disappear, I will be back. The boys will hold it down for me while I'm gone. Definitely. It's just gonna be a learning process. And everyone here, we're friendly and we're cool with trying new things, right? So this is gonna be a learning experience for all of us. Mm-hmm. You also might notice that a chunk of my display fell behind me, and I haven't had a chance to fix that. This is looking like a real kind of duct tape together production, boys. We're looking
modern take on Star Wars. It works. Look, just go with it, man.
I was so angry about the most recent casting rumor that I punched my wall and the thing fell off. It was it.
What did Kathleen do this time?
Coming to my neck. No, I'm just kidding. I am just kidding.
Jim, it's just a good practice to vent. Every Star Wars fan should do it. Once you need to find a target, something about Star Wars pisses you off, you just punch a wall. And you're back to normal.
I before E, except after C, when sounding like A, and like neighbor and way, and weekends and holidays and all throughout May. Old joke. No one remembers it. All right.
I failed a lot of my classes.
Oh my gosh, that's why we're here to talk about Star Wars, and there is a lot of fun things to talk about this week. Specifically, as we kind of have in the background, if you guys don't know what picture this is here in the background, this is kind of Studio Ghibli's artist's take on Star Wars. So we have kind of this X-Wing style photo. It's a fantastic piece of artwork. And the reason why is, if rumors are true, we are going to get Star Wars Visions later this year, season 2, which would be absolutely phenomenal. You guys know, if you've come to this stream before, what big fans we are of Star Wars Visions, and we'll go ahead and pull up some of the sources at this point. Ooh, let's get us over here. This was dropped by Cinelinx, picked up by a bunch of other publications people have been talking about. It's been trending on Twitter a little bit the last couple days. I feel like if they did not move forward with more episodes, it would be an absolute, just total blown opportunity, because I was blown away with the first season of Vision. So before we talk about what we want to see in the show, because I want to talk a little bit about what I want to see in season 2, let's go around the triangle. Start with Jimmy. Jimmy, what are your thoughts on season 2 of Visions?
On season 2? Well, I know for starters, it's not 100% confirmed, but you know what's going to happen. If we don't get a season 2 of Visions, it's kind of like getting Star Wars without Empire. I'm going that far to say it, because Visions it was so unique, man. It was great. Mm-hmm. And if we just did a one-off and said, all right, there you go. What? Come on. There's so much rich storytelling there.
Yeah. Ben?
Guys, I'll be honest with you. I was sitting and watching it with my brother. I actually waited for him. It's like, hey, dude, do you have one of these days? Just stop over. We'll watch it together, because we're in the habit of doing that. Aside from 2 episodes, Tatooine Rhapsody and Toby, I loved all of them. And even those 2 episodes, which I didn't love, I'm like, hey, you know what? This is kind of cute. This is well done. Perhaps it's not for me. It's obviously trying to cater to the different Star Wars tastes. I'm sure as I was watching it, I still appreciated it artistically, as a trained animator myself. I'm like, hey, you know what? There's going to be somebody out there who's going to love this particular episode. So all of them, I would say, were expertly done. They were all on point, and they all gave us something that we didn't expect. A taste of Star Wars, like in a different coating or something, with a different skin, which is really, really cool.
Absolutely. I think it's really cool to hear too, Ben, when you talk about, waiting to watch it with your family, because it's a big part of the Star Wars fandom is the community, right?
Yeah.
Watching it with the people you love. I think one thing I know we all talk about enjoying is kind of exposing our close, family and friends to kind of the deeper level of Star Wars, right? People who've grown up on the big kind of pop culture events, which were the movies, taking them through the shows, taking them through things like Visions is super rewarding. I know a lot of you have done that as well. Now, Nick actually jumped right to the question that was first on my list. It's actually, I told Nick beforehand to come put this in chat, which is, what do we want to see in Visions 2? And right here, the question is, do we want to see brand new episodes or some continuation? And I will tell you right now, my expectation is we'll see both, especially when it comes to the Ninth Jedi, the Elder, and those two in particular come to mind, because with Ronan, we had a whole book. I'm not entirely sure they'll go kind of revisit that. They might. Right. But I do expect more Ninth Jedi and more The Elder. In fact, I honestly would love an entire 10-season anime based on the Ninth Jedi. That world was absolutely phenomenal. But one thing I will say before I pass over to the guys, when Visions was announced, I actually had no idea what to expect. I had no idea. I had no expectations. And I think that's part of the fun. Even the shorts, some of which didn't work as well for me as others. I thought all were executed really well for their own style. I don't want to limit, though, kind of the creativity of these studios. So I think that the right approach for Disney would to continue to go to the studios and tell them, make whatever you want. I mean, that's kind of my answer. But myself personally, I'd love to see more in the Ninth Jedi, more of the Elder as well. I think the Elder especially left off with a lot more to explore, it felt like. So I don't know, guys. Ben, let's start with you. What do you want to see in season 2?
Well, I'm going to go and be pragmatic on this. Obviously, they have to be selective in terms of, first of all, scheduling. It takes time to produce this kind of stuff, especially when it's hand-drawn animation. And second of all, they got to stay within the budget. So what I see is my taste aligns with what is realistic in terms of production. They probably will go and look at what was most successful in terms of viewership, what the executives mostly like. I see Ronan, without knowing obviously the background story, as there was their reaction to that particular episode. They liked it so much and said, well, hold on a second. This is so really cool. Maybe there is more story there. Can we spin it more? Let's go into different media and assign an author to write a book about this. So as far as the second season is concerned, maybe we'll see a continuation of some, like you said, Josh, in conjunction with some new episodes. Hey, look, if they expanded beyond the format of the first one and introduced, let's say, 15 or 16 episodes, maybe they'll cover all of them. I honestly don't see how the Rhapsody and Toby ones are necessarily begging for continuation. Maybe leave a couple of them behind. It was just a one-time off kind of thing. And then could just continue with something more that was more connected with fans. Yeah, that's what I personally want to see.
I love that. Jimmy?
I will say every episode of Visions did a good job of leaving an open ending, so you could continue any of them, if you really wanted to. My thing with it is I'm thinking the 4 we got on the screen here. So you've got the Duel of the Elder, the Village Bride, and the Ninth Jedi. I think those are the strongest contenders for continuations.
The 4 best, I think, as well. Yeah, right.
And I mean that is definitely subjective, but I think those are probably the strongest ones that we could see continuations.
La Pinocho.
That one too, yeah. But I mean, even with the Duel, if they wanted to make a continuation of it and just pick another part of the book and retell that, I'd be fine with it. A complete alternative look to this, I would like to see season 2 of Visions go to a different culture. Indian animation is beautiful. That would be kind of fun.
That could be interesting.
Claymation would be cool too. That is a very long shot form. I doubt that's what their plan is, but I think it would just be cool to incorporate more cultures.
Open it up to all unique animation styles.
Yeah, because anime is very popular in America and probably worldly as well. But there's so much other types of animation that we just don't get to see, and I think this would be the prime way to represent that.
Yeah. Get Tim Burton's team on the crew. Get them.
Hey, that would be cool.
That'd be cool. That'd be a lot of fun. Those are some great suggestions. I think, to Ben's point, there were obvious shorts that really resonated with the community. And I keep going to Ninth Jedi because I think when you were in that world of the Ninth Jedi, it felt so fresh, but still familiar. I mean, it's the intrigue at play in that what I think that was the longest episode. Was it 20 minutes long? I'll get the time up here. Let's look.
One of them was like 24, wasn't it?
It could have been the Ninth Jedi. I think the Ninth Jedi was the longest, but regardless, the impact it had in just short form, I thought was absolutely a testament to what it was doing. You know, I mean, it was absolutely resonating with us. And so, you know, to me, I think you have to kind of give us more taste in those worlds. And I'd love to see it on the screen. As much as I think it was cool that we had the duel expanded in the Ronin novel, I would love to see them kind of stay in that show format where they were originally kind of created. So my hope is that we do revisit these places. What do you guys think the likelihood is of one of these shows getting greenlit for its own kind of production? Because one way Disney could have looked at this, and I hope they're considering this, these are almost pilot episodes.
Yeah.
Pilot episodes, like this is a proof of concept. Like, did this character work? Did this world work? You know, you kind of put it out there and see how the audience responds. And it's a great way to do that, because if it doesn't work, if it doesn't land, then it was only like a 10-minute, 15-minute investment and you move on. You think there's any chance any of these shows get their own series on Disney Plus?
Go ahead, Jim. What do you think?
I want to say no, just because I just don't see them wanting to do that. However, I personally want it so bad. And well, you said like these are all pilots. You're absolutely right. And if it came down to make, what was it, the 15 pilots, let's pick one to have a full show, they gave Lucasfilm a run for their money trying to pick one.
Yeah.
Because
that's a good point.
Wait for me to come back here. It's so difficult to pick one of these. My other concern would be, I mean, it would happen regardless. I just don't want to see a whole fan base riot of they made a second episode and ruined the original concept, because we know how Star Wars goes.
It's true.
This is not what, you know, what was her name from the Ninth Jedi? Cara.
Yeah.
It'd be like they ruined Kara's character. You don't know anything about her character.
Yeah.
Sometimes less is more. Yeah. Go ahead, Ben.
I think there's two likely scenarios here. Route one, you pick one of these episodes, right? The director behind The Ninth Jedi specifically actually stated in an article which came out shortly after, saying that actually I designed my first episode to be like a pilot for a potential show. Obviously, they all want to get hired. They want to all play in this universe. They want to create their own stuff. So imagine season 2, take one episode and extrapolate it into a full story, but keep it like the micro original Clone Wars series, where they're all still pretty small episodes, which it doesn't tax the Disney, you know, team production budget. The second round, and then you continue season 3, 4, and 5. You basically expand on each episode and blow the story up in that direction. Yeah. Each episode tells you narratively more what happens to those guys. Scenario number 2 is, once again, we're so fortunate in the Star Wars community that we have all these different mediums to experience. We are already getting the High Republic manga, right? We're already getting some of the more popular novels like Leia, Princess of Alderaan, I believe, and The Lost Stars being converted to manga.
Yep.
Go manga style. Go, like, you know, create your old Shonen Jump of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Introduce super talented Japanese artists and writers and just go for it. Just play with those characters. Give us a monthly release. I'm starting to pick up on the frame of mind where I kind of like this approach, where instead of serialized run, you have a season of standalone episodes. It is so different. It is so fresh. It's like there's so much to look forward to.
It's true.
I will mail anyone all of my credit cards for a Shonen Jump subscription issue Star Wars thing.
Right.
Because I remember getting those, man. They were so cool.
I used to sell them in my comic book shop. And guys, believe it or not, every Wednesday I would put the new comic series on the shelf. Here we have Marvel over here, DC over here, and then all the mangas and Shonen Jumps were there. Every single Wednesday after school, because we had a school in the Bronx right next to my store. All the like junior high schoolers would come off school. Guess what they were going after?
Yep.
Like Shonen Jump magazine.
Those Wednesday Warriors, man.
Yeah.
You know, for me, one thing. So I will also note that the rumored kind of launch date for this is next fall. Was this fall? That's perfect. This thing works so well to me in that September, October time slot. It was such a sweet treat.
And I think it's perfect too, because, you know, like the studios that are working on Mando and Boba Fett and all that stuff, they're not working on this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a completely different schedule. They can have it ready whenever.
We'll talk about the Mando season 3 time a little bit later in the stream. One thing I wanted to call out, so for the folks in chat and folks watching, when we get together to do this stream, we barely talk about these specific topics beforehand because we want to be able to just go in fresh and have like really genuine reactions and genuine conversation with you guys, like you're part of the crew, part of the friendship. And so before this episode, we were talking a little bit about Visions. I was like, yeah, we're going to start talking about Visions. We were talking about the background art and yada, yada. And as we got talking, like our excitement just kind of beamed through. Like we just kept talking about it. Like, oh man, I love to rewatch this episode. And, Jimmy was talking about how he rewatches certain episodes on his lunch break and how I've watched The Village Bride like, 50 times. And it's just such a testament to what they were able to produce in such a short time span that you have 3 different fans. You have 3 different, we all love Star Wars, but we all love different things about Star Wars. Ben often talks about his love for the original trilogy and certain animation projects. And, Jimmy and I, we did for our 1,000 subscriber special, we went through our favorite moment in every Star Wars movie, and we didn't have one the same.
Crazy.
And so it's just a testament to these 3 kind of different fans with different interests, etc. Like how these studios, given 15 to 20 minutes, could make us like diehard excited about it. It's just like, hats off, full applause. I think it needs to be absolutely acknowledged. Like the world of the Ninth Jedi and the Village Bride and the Elder, like they just get me so pumped. They get me hyped up more than some of the biggest projects we have on the way. So testament to the creative team. I hope Disney keeps letting them do it.
That would be cool for sure.
Any other thoughts on Visions before we're going to talk a little bit more about the panels coming in Star Wars Celebration. Star Wars Celebration is coming later in May. And I have a very strong feeling we're going to get a Vision Season 2 confirmed at that panel. But anything else on the Visions front before we move on to the next topic?
I had one last thought. Okay. When we looked at the Visions and compared to the Animatrix and later on what they did, the Batman series, right? Both projects were similar in a way because it was all coming from Japan, different treatments of anime. But if you guys remember, one of the Animatrix episodes, specifically the first one, was full CGI and like realistic, believable CGI, similar to that Final Fantasy first movie effort that they did in Square in the early 2000s.
Oh,
Late 90s, right? Spirits Within, I think was it called. And imagine if they introduce CGI into Visions. We already have Star Wars CGI shows, but they're very specific in their format and artistic style. They definitely are arranged to be like a family tree. You sit down, it's like just from visual aesthetic, it's not meant to be ultra realistic. What if they go for that specific look? Even though the duel is sort of cheating, it's still CGI, but I'm talking about that specific gamey kind of like ultra realistic look. I would also like to see that in the Visions.
I know one thing as we move on here, like Jimmy and I were talking about it before the stream, and I know my wife is always talking about it. Like Studio Ghibli, love to see something Star Wars related. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but we can dream. That would be kind of a cool project as well.
It would be beautiful.
Be beautiful. Okay, speaking of, I'm going to segue here, right? You see that this is supposed to release in the fall. Well, there was one topic this week as I kind of zoom back out to the faces. We made a video on the channel talking about this. If you haven't seen it yet, a bunch of people covered it. And it was possibly revealed what the Mando Season 3 timetable would be. So if you guys don't know, if you haven't heard the story, you can go check out the video on the channel. But here's kind of a short version. Giancarlo Esposito, who is our boy Moff Gideon, he is doing a press tour right now for some of the projects he's working on. And he went on the Rich Eisen show. It's a sports show, daily sports show. It's actually a really good sports show. I really enjoy. And he got asked about when's the Mandalorian returning. And he said, it's coming soon. I have a few more things to finish up for my part, and no official date yet, but we're aiming for later this summer. And so, speculation ran wild. Is that going to come out in August, September? For me, I was very surprised by that date, or that supposed date, because what we've seen so far for Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, is that these are like fall, winter, these are cold month shows, right? That come out towards the end of the year or the beginning of the next year. And this would be a real departure from that formula. And think about it like this. Book of Boba Fett ended in February. We have a couple month break before Kenobi starts in May, ends in June. And then a couple months later in September, we could have, Mando season 3 start. That would be a really full slate, plus Visions, plus Bad Batch season 2, plus Andor at some point. We could be coming up on a really, really tight Star Wars release schedule. What do you guys think about the possibility of a Mando season 3 coming in the summer of this year? And all of these shows they're juggling right now. We don't have release dates for like any of these. What do you guys think about all the content coming to Disney Plus?
I don't believe the summer release date. Like I think Giancarlo truly thinks, the show's almost done. So all the shows I have done, by the time they're finished, they come out at this point. Or he could be trying to just throw us off and throw out a guess. It just wouldn't make sense. I don't see how it would work that far. Because when you say summer, for me, I instantly go June, July. I don't even think of August. Because like those two months are really like your summer months for big blockbusters and all the hype.
The only reason, and you're right, Jimmy, I'm right there with you. I do know, and maybe Ben can comment on this. I know for some on the East Coast, summer is also it is August and September. Like I know a lot of people who start school in September on the East Coast side, even though for us in my area it was always August. So I considered, August like the end of summer. I know for other parts of the country it might be different. But let me ask you this, Jimmy and Ben. When's Andor coming out?
I want to know that too, considering it's in the can for 3 seasons. We haven't even seen a trailer for season 1. They better show like a 3.5 minute trailer at Celebration.
So what I mean is, in my head, Andor or Mando has to come out in like August or September, or there's not enough months in the year to do both shows.
I'm honestly thinking if they really want to put Mando out in the summer, that would be fine because anyway,
Disney's
Andor, every time they're like, he knows too much, shut it off. Andor seems like it would be kind of a cozy show for an October-November release. Mm-hmm. I think that would fit with the time really well. I don't know, maybe it's the color scheme they're using, but that just seems right.
And I could argue,
it's a fall show.
I could argue because Mando gave us 2 episodes or Book of Boba Fett gave us 2 episodes of Mando. They've already kind of started season 3, and so maybe it's easier to give us a couple episodes. What do you think, Ben? Go ahead, Jimmy. I was
going to say it's harder to figure that out because both Mando 1 and 2 were put out November, December.
Yeah,
it's a more consistent schedule. It seems more believable. I think what the actor was probably saying is like, hey, I think my part is already done. It's in their hands because, there still needs to be time that passes post shooting where they prepare all the digital effects, even though they do it much quicker now. There's still time that needs to be, they need to finish this off. Yeah. I just don't see here on the East Coast. We still talk about September summer. We like officially for us, September 22nd is like, oh, okay, summer is over now.
Yeah.
Specifically from that day, which is weird. I as a European, for me, it's difficult to accept. I'm like, okay, all right, this is what it is. Because it's still pretty warm throughout the middle of October.
Yeah.
Sometimes we still are rocking like shirts in the early October. But I just don't see in terms of vibes, like kids are back from vacations. They're gearing up to go to school. Like I just don't see how it's commercial. I think what was happening with the Disney Plus is that because we were cut off from a cinematic experience due to a pandemic, they wanted to reassure us that Disney Plus is going to be our money's worth. And they also wanted to shift gears, how they're going to deliver Star Wars content to us, because they still need to make money on this franchise, right? So they made all of these crazy announcements. And now it's behind the screen. It's a juggling act of trying to align and position everything in terms of scheduling, in terms of shooting, in terms of getting there. One of the craziest hectic things about all of these events is getting the actors sign up, even the ones that have contracts to work on your show, just to carve out a piece of their schedule to come over and shoot for you. I'm so happy the way that they're designing the Mandalorian style of filmmaking, that they can all produce it in a nutshell. Guys, I remember like watching when the first prequel film was over, and granted it's a full feature film, but still the idea was the same. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, finished, and we had to wait a year, almost like a year and a half, for all the special effects to be done. Now they do it a lot quicker. Now it's just a busier way of trying to figure out how to fit it all together. As far as Andor is concerned, I almost feel like they announced it And now they put it on the back burner. It's like, oh, now let's see. You guys keep working on it. Let's see how we can slide it in our scheduling so it makes sense.
Yeah.
As far as Mandalorian goes, season 3, I think it's much higher on the priority list. A, because we've already seen 2 seasons, and B, because it's highly received with fans. So it's a moneymaker guaranteed. Nobody knows, it's an X factor what's going to happen with Andor. So I'm seeing that potential for the show probably middle or end of next year, maybe. I don't know how that's going to work out. But, for Mandalorian, personal excitement level, I'm just like, hey, just like everything else, let's wait and see. Let's see where this goes.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I was gonna say, and it's interesting that you bring that up because that very well could be the case. Because when you're talking about like making films, specifically Episode 1, it probably took them 2.5 years to make that movie. He started writing, I believe, in 1995. Okay, so 4 years to release. And you want to know do you know how long of that the actors were there, like doing the scenes?
First year, like first couple of months, right?
6 months.
6 months. There you go.
Yeah.
Granted, the technology has advanced, but the idea is still the same. After you finish filming your live footage, there's still a lot of post stuff to work on.
Oh, a lot of it.
I will go bold and say, even though the likelihood is low, let me just everyone, this is likelihood low. Let me pitch a radical release schedule for the rest of the year.
Ahsoka tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. we know it's not going to happen, but we'll just play along and have some fun. So what they could do is, middle of June, we come to the end of Kenobi. Disney has such belief in Mandalorian and the draw it brings them from a rating perspective. They're like, let's hit it in that end of summer. September was at one point October at one point big box office months. You had Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight come out. The Batman was supposed to come out in October. You had Suicide Squad, the good one, come out in that September, August timeframe. So, maybe they're thinking, okay, we put this out in August, like we've seen other blockbusters do. We're going to crush that end of summer, those last couple weeks, end of summer. And we're going to let it wrap up, give us time to do Andor as the big holiday special. So we're going to get a lot out this year. We're going to give you Kenobi, we're going to give you Andor, we're going to give you Mando, and we're going to kind of blow you away. And maybe they do with Andor what they did for Book of Boba Fett, which is that end of the year slot. So that could be like the radical, you start Mando in like September, wrap it up at end of October. And then, end of December, you start Andor, and you kind of have it like every 3 months you get Star Wars. Every 4 months you get Star Wars. Maybe unlikely it is not going to happen, but it could be kind of something they might try, because I think Disney is pretty emboldened with the Mandalorian universe. I think they feel like they can put it out anytime and people will watch. But I mean, they put out Moon Knight right now, and I think Moon Knight's been fantastic, but this is random. Like, it's like the middle of April, they just got to stick it.
Josh, so you're watching Moon Knight?
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it.
One single question. I'm debating whether to watch it or not. Yeah. I'm picking up a lot of vibes that it's purposely cheesy, like 80s movies cheesy, or it's not?
It's not very cheesy. I don't think so. No, not in the way you're talking about. I know what you're thinking. It's not. Okay. I've really liked it. For the Marvel
I love Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, he's fantastic in it, I think. So he kind of carries it.
Cool.
So let's keep talking about Disney Plus shows. Let's go ahead and get the screen share back up, because we have a couple of interesting things on the docket. So we had a quote today from Bryce Dallas Howard, director of the best episode of Star Wars television, which was Book of Boba Fett episode 5. That was my favorite episode of Star Wars television live action. Absolutely love that episode. Phenomenal. She said, fans of the Clone Wars are going to be greatly awarded with the Ahsoka series. Now that obviously implies to me we're going to get some Clone Wars flashbacks, right? That's what it's got to mean. That is what it's got to be. And to me, I think a lot of us have speculated whether that's going to happen in Kenobi. I think they might be saving that for the Ahsoka show to kind of get those kind of character defining moments. But exciting nonetheless. Ahsoka started filming next month. Is that correct? It's this month or next month? I think it's in May or June of this year.
I got nothing on that.
I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talking about it. It's going to be filming here soon. I hope Bryce Dallas Howard is going to get an episode to direct. And we also recently were confirmed the director of Into the Spider-Verse, the Sony animated Spider-Man movie. He is directing an episode of Ahsoka.
Hey,
so those are big names on this show, and I'm very excited for Ahsoka. Not a ton to talk about here. I just saw this quote today, and I thought it'd be cool to bring it up as we're talking about other Disney Plus projects.
I just want to hear the words Ahsoka Tano come out of Hayden Christensen's mouth.
Ah, it would be cool.
That'll have it just come full circle.
That would be cool. All right, on to the next piece of news. We'll get there in a second. Let's talk about a couple of panels coming up at Star Wars Celebration. And we're going to do a deep dive as we get a little bit closer. But the Bad Batch does have a panel at Star Wars Celebration, further indicating to me that we are going to get that season 2 announcement or date reveal, I should say, here later in May. This show is slated to come out this year. Again, we talked about release schedule. I don't know how they're going to fit this on here, but I love the Bad Batch. As highly as we talked about Visions, I think Bad Batch was also a huge success. I know Ben and Jimmy agree that they loved it as well. So we are going to get a panel here in a couple of weeks, and I expect that we are going to get the either season trailer or the season announcement date as well. Because if you guys remember, the Bad Batch, they just put a trailer out one day. There was like no warning. There was like, here's a trailer, and people were like, woo! So I think they're going to do that here again. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah. Bad Batch season 2.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm greedy, man. All I can think about, I loved each and every episode and every character and every plot and subplot so much. I'm like, can we please return to 24 episode format? Can we please get more of this stuff? Like, I get a lot of stuff from people. It's like, hey, like people had expectations, whether like it's Clone Wars 2.0 or more emphasis on action or more cameos. Mm-hmm. I always look at it at what you're showing me, what your idea is, what your premise is. And like, if it's well executed, it just lets you live in that world for a little while, right? And the first season was just so good to me because despite anything that I wanted the show to be, it is what it is. Like, it's done. It's solid in stone. They already filmed the first season, right? You're just experiencing this. And I couldn't help but be sucked into that world. It was so good that I just felt like, man, you could have squeezed just a couple of more episodes and just make the first season even more so wholesome. So when you go into season 2, I am pretty sure, as far as that show is concerned, we saw a lesser amount of episodes due to the money. We saw that even with the Clone Wars, right? The last couple of seasons that were shorter because, hey, like they needed to wrap the things up there. But with this one, I'm like, hey, you're making hot money right now. It's very high on your priority list. It's very popular with the fans. Can we please go back into that full 24 episode strong mode? Because it also provides a lot of leverage where you have that one filler episode that not a lot of fans agree with. Like, hey, that particular episode was slower. I didn't care for this character. At least you have more room for adjustment.
Totally agree. And one thing that gets lost, I think, because it's been a while, so we're quick to move on as a society. One thing that was really awesome at the end of the Bad Batch was like they laid some big plot points for next season.
Big Easter eggs.
Yeah, with some cloning focus, etc. So big things are coming, and the first season was phenomenal. So the first episode is just.
And I mean, and that's the thing I love about it is like there are other people that are like, oh, it's Clone Wars 2.0 or it's Clone Wars season 8. And I'm like, it's not. It's Clone Wars season 8 for like the first half of the first episode.
Yeah.
And once they got to Saw Gerrera, I completely forgot Clone Wars was a thing because this is new story taking on a completely different direction than what I was expecting it to. And I see no relation to Clone Wars at all, other than the fact that the animation is the same and these characters were from Clone Wars.
We're seen in the Clone Wars, yeah.
It is so unique in its own style that it separates itself from everything else, just like Rebels and Resistance.
I think the first episode was such a great send-off. We got that pure Clone Wars fanfare in the beginning and the voice of Wolf Yularen. It was clearly artistically they're moving you they're directionally from one place to the next. I was like, oh man, I'm in heaven right now. This is like so cool.
It's so good. It is so good. And one thing I'll say before we kind of switch topics.
Mount Tannis.
Yeah. One thing I'll say before we switch topics, because we're sticking with Star Wars Celebration. One day, this crew is going to be there. 3 of us will be there together.
Oh, yeah.
When we're all bigger, we're going to be there.
We're going to be on the main stage. It'll happen.
I'll take the back room. I don't even need to be on the main stage. I just want to go.
I'll take the lobby.
And this would be a cool year to go because I am full in on this next rumor. You guys, these two have heard me talk about this rumor for a long time. I fully believe it. This is one rumor I'm all in on. There has been a resurgence this week of during Star Wars Celebration. We are going to reportedly have a panel that is going to announce the Tale of the Jedi project, something that I think is 100% happening. I am all in. I don't know if it's animated or live action. I'm leaning animated. But when we saw that holiday box that has like never been officially confirmed or rebutted or rebuked, I guess, I think we're getting a Tale of the Jedi project, and I think they're going to announce it at Star Wars Celebration. Now, I have the Tales of the Jedi super fan on the stream here with Ben. Ben, we've talked about this on the stream before, but I believe we are about 4 to 5 weeks away from an official confirmation. What would it mean to you as a fan, longtime fan of the project?
Oh man, the tease continues on. You guys love to poke me with this topic. Yeah, if you could just bring this little picture on screen as I talk about my Tales of the Jedi. It's a double-edged sword. Just looking at this one image, right? Ulic Keldroma, the main protagonist behind this story. For some of you guys who may not be familiar, I'm pretty sure most of you know this. This was the comic that was responsible for germinating the idea of the Knights of the Old Republic. BioWare's legendary video game comes from this comic. And honestly, I remember reading it for the first time without any introduction to it. Nobody spoke about this book to me. Nobody told me, oh my God, it's amazing. And I think this is the best place to come into experience any story. Like Josh, you like a lot of, fantasy books that we talked about. Mm-hmm. Jimmy, you love a lot about science fiction, television shows. It's the best place for me to come into something where your opinion is not influenced by any outside source. So when I read this Tales of the Jedi series, it immediately became one of my most beloved stories. And it is to this day, which the whole reason I'm saying is I believe it speaks to the power of this particular story. And it's everything. It's the artwork. It's the character designs. It's the writing. It's the journeys that the main heroes go through. So I'm fearful, but I'm also an optimist. I've always been an optimist in life at heart. I always hope for the best. I just really don't want the show to be tarnished by too much of modern sensibilities, if that makes sense. And again, I don't want to go into the whole territory of, there's wokeness in Star Wars, this and that. It's not about that. It's just general modern sensibilities where like, hey, let's tinker with it. Let's add an
You want it to be true to the source material.
Yes, I want it to be true aesthetically. I want it to be true artistically. The way that Kevin J. Anderson and the rest of the artists worked on this. He wrote the story, and all the artists that contribute to the look of it. Even with this particular design, the reason I wanted you to put this picture on a screen is that it becomes iconic. Star Wars art is icons to people. People post this on the wall. It's almost like a religious experience. You look at the costume design. Oh my God, that shoulder pad, that blue color, it resonates with you visually so much. And Star Wars is very much a visual experience.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yep. So my hope as a fan is, please, by all means, innovate, modernize. If you want to make certain characters tighter to fit a specific show type, I get it. But keep the integrity and spirit of it intact. Don't try to pour all this modern stuff that we have, the modern dialogues or the modern kind of social issues. I don't care about that. I want pure, unabashed Star Wars experience.
I think what would be really cool for the show is if they did go animated, but they did it in a different style, different than the Clone Wars or the Bad Batch,
like a traditional animation.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool if we got an animated but a different way, because we've had 3D animation in different formats with Rebels versus Clone Wars. We had Bad Batch. We even had Resistance, which went a different way. Maybe more of a hand-drawn traditional style would be really cool.
Or
Jimmy, have you ever read
Arcane?
Tales? Oh yeah,
right?
like Arcane,
which combines 3D and 2D in such a beautiful, seamless way. Like you're just looking at it, you get lost in it. You no longer analyze whether it's CG or not. It just looks beautiful.
I'll have to read. I know Ben has kind of given me and Jimmy the source material and said, read this when you guys you have to read this. So it will be high to do on my list. I am personally leaning. I'm really hoping it's an animated show, because we've talked about, we had an episode a couple weeks back talking about how much we love animated Star Wars. And so I'm hoping it stays in that animated space, but I'm open to a live action as well. Could be a lot of fun.
Sam Witwer behind the voice of this hero, and I will die. I can die happy, man.
There you go.
I am hoping that it is just true source material stuff too, because I think it'd be really unique, because it's a part of Star Wars that I don't have a lot of knowledge in. So I'm always down to learn more. But I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, it's going to be a real kick in the pants if we're going to sit here and speculate all this stuff just for them to be like, Tales of the Jedi, we're re-releasing the comics with updated art.
They've already done that.
Yeah,
Again.
well, they're doing it again.
A third time,
It can't
Or
be
you
that.
know,
Jimmy,
and especially
Jimmy,
because
don't blow my bubble, man.
especially, and the other thing that scares me, and this is probably just because of the tweet, but the tweet we showed, you know, it's got that
Yeah.
picture of all the Jedi underneath, and I'm like, if they take the title with the same font and style and just tell prequel Jedi stories,
New Tales of
would-
the Jedi phone covers,
I would
guys. Get
honestly-
those, right?
honestly, that might be the one thing I'd kind of be upset about. The one time I'd
Yeah.
ever be mad at Star Wars, and I might even throw up.
Well, I think
Because you get so much, you know what you're doing. You take that
Yeah.
logo that a lot of fans know, and they get
Yeah.
excited, and you're about to say, "Here's Rey's adventures." Be like, I'm sorry, what?
and
Jimmy,
we
you
will.
remember the whole Diablo debacle when they announced the new mobile
Yes.
game? They were like, hyping it for a month,
Yeah.
and fans were like, "Is this a joke? What is this, man?"
And I was
I-
like, man, I just wanted Diablo 4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think my guess is that it's going to be a live action show following a group of like younger Jedi. But we'll see. You know, I'm open to whatever if it's good, right? But to Jimmy's point, if it is going to be something that's on its own, a whole different story, you don't need to steal the title of kind of a known property. Now, Marvel's done that, where they'll call a movie like, you know, Age of Ultron, referencing a comic, and the story is actually nothing like the Age of Ultron comic, except for that Ultron's the villain, right? So, you know, we'll wait and see. We're not going to talk about this too much because I think it's going to be a major topic of conversation later next month. But I just wanted Jimmy and Ben to know that those rumors, they are still a-flowing. They are.
Oh, and they're not going to stop.
Absolutely.
We're all going to be disappointed when nothing happens at Celebration.
Absolutely not. Guys, I'm really excited for Celebration. As I said, we're going to be there one day. We're going to hop in.
I'm truthfully getting stressed about all the content I'm going to have to make.
It's going to be fun. And we have Kenobi that week too, guys.
I'm
Kenobi and Star Wars
just
Celebration the
not
same week.
sleeping for like 4 days.
We're thinking about chat. We're thinking about doing a reaction live stream or watch party together for Kenobi. We'll talk about it, but we'd love to do that. We're going to be so excited for that.
we got it, man.
that
We got to
episode.
do something, make something happen.
Late night, 2 episodes, the whole thing.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment on the show. Before we
What?
move to the High Republic news we got this week, we got to talk about Josh's favorite segment. What did he buy in Star Wars this week?
Oh!
I'm glad everyone
Josh's-
asked.
Oh yeah, that's Josh's favorite topic.
Thanks, everyone. What was cool in Star Wars this week? Well, we'll start with the Trapper Wolf helmets.
Wait, you're going after helmet collections now?
I recently bought the Mandalorian helmet, which is on my shelf over
Right, you
here.
did.
You have seen the
Yeah.
back of the video. And when I saw them announce this Trapper Wolf helmet, I absolutely love the design. First of all, like I think this is a really great helmet, pilot helmet.
Mhm.
And I wanted to have like one pilot helmet for the collection. And I thought, what kind of more unique one to get than Dave Filoni himself? But not just because of that. I love the green, love the kind of yellow New Republic logo on the side of the helmet, and then of course the wolf at top. I absolutely got this on pre-order. It'll be here February next year,
Nice.
so we're not going to talk about this for a long time. But it looks
Does
really
Dave
cool.
Filoni come with
And-
it? You get
Does he deliver it to your door? He goes, "This is yours, son."
this is yours.
Doesn't this one come with like a lot of stuff that the other helmets don't? Like, doesn't this come with like electronics or something?
I think some do. I think the newer ones all come with electronics.
Okay, man, I want one of these so bad. I just haven't found a Rebel pilot helmet that I'm set on yet, and I don't want to dish out the money for a custom job.
But they had Wedge last year, didn't they? And they've had Luke, I think.
Yeah, they had
times,
Luke
so-
Wedge. Like, if they gave us just like the white one with the blue Rebel logo, I'd buy that.
One day. Okay, that was what I bought this week. But good news, the segment's not over yet because I found something that friend of the channel. I think Ben. I think this is for Ben.
Oh
Let me
yeah.
go ahead and get this pulled up. Ben, as you guys know, is an avid watcher of all things Star Wars.
Indeed.
He loves Star Wars. He lives and breathes
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Can
Yeah,
confirm.
absolutely does.
And there's one project that he has a burning passion for, whether he knows it or not,
Oh, okay.
and that is Ewoks.
Oh,
And
yeah.
heroes and
Oh, yeah.
villains got this week. 2 days ago, they were launched an entire
Wait, is that
retro.
Nissan? Oh, dude.
They released an entire retro Ewoks friends come in all shapes and sizes shirt. Look at this.
Oh man.
And you might
This
say,
is actually cool.
I thought you'd like it. And you might say, Josh, that's pretty cool. Guess what? There's also a full button down shirt.
Yo.
Oh, dude. I might gonna have to get to Chip to just get this one.
That would be your Star Wars celebration attire. The other one you buy and you cut the sleeves off yourself.
Guys, I just finished season 1. I'm gonna start reviewing season 2 from tomorrow. Nisa like literally catapulted to like one of my favorite characters. She's just such a lovely, cool design.
Yeah.
And the season finale of the first season has like this other cool character in there. I'm not gonna spoil it for fans who haven't seen it. Man, this show, like, I'm enveloped in it. I'm like, oh man, where's the merch? I'm almost like dreadful to finish the second season because I'm already thinking to myself, hey, Disney, could you set like possibly a slot in there where you could like possibly continue these 80s show that nobody cares about anymore just for me because I want it.
And guess what? We also have an Ewoks friends coming all shapes and sizes shirt. And of course, for those cold winter months, you have your sweater as well.
Oh man, these are nice. These genuinely, like, I'm impressed, man.
Yeah, I like how it's super throwback vintage looking. I really dig that.
Yeah, really those creamy colors, like I'm really digging it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, but this one is the first one takes the cake. The very first one you showed me.
This one here,
the rainbow. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
this is sweet.
Yeah, it is really cool. This one, like, this is a whole vibe. This is a whole mood.
I love that they're backing up something like so like old school and vintage.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like for the fans, you know.
I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. You know what's funny, guys? I was at an event last weekend here in town at the convention center, and as I'm walking around, I see someone rocking a Heroes and Villains hat, and like I know it because I shop at Hero Villains all the time. Yeah. And I'm like, hey man, he actually complimented me because I was wearing a Buffalo Bills shirt. And he's like, oh, hey, man, Bills, that's awesome. I'm like, bro, is your hat from Heroes and Villains? He's like, yeah, I shop there all the time. And we kind of bonded.
Nice.
Over that. So there you go.
Anytime I'm at work on the sales floor, like, they always say, like, interact with the customers. Why? When I'm a customer, I don't want you interacting with me. But I have people come in, I'll see Ghostbusters merch, Star Wars, Scream. And every time I'm like, dude, I love your Star Wars hoodie.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Same in heavy metal community. Like, I was in Israel 3 years ago, and I'm walking across the street, and this like older heavy metaler kind of dude, hair all this messy, he's rocking a Manowar shirt. All I had to do, different languages, different people, I look at him and it's like you have that reciprocity in there. It's like, Manowar.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome. You gotta love it. Okay, guys, we are on to the final topic for today.
Yes, the topic.
The beginning of phase 2 has been announced via this week's High Republic show. And what we mainly know is that they have a fantastic artist doing the cover for these. Because this, to me, I've been thinking about this. This might be the best cover of any High Republic thing we've gotten so far, including some of the out-of-print ones. And I really love the out-of-print ones. I own the Fallen Star. The Fallen Star one is probably still my favorite. Mm-hmm. But I absolutely love the full, like, outside of the borders artwork. I love the blues. I love that we're going with blue for the logo for season 2. I think that's a really cool idea. And I think this is a fantastic cover. I like the title too, Path of Deceit. It's a very kind of fun, inviting, cover. You do sell books by their cover. As far as what we know about the plot, we know very little, except for it's going to follow. It's going to take place on, I believe, a new planet. I lost the title of it here.
The planet is called Dalna.
Thank you. And we are going to follow kind of a group of like occultists who are like, no one should be using the Force. And, we are probably going to have some hints at Markion Rowe's backstory and his race a little bit more. Even though this is 150 years in the past, we might see some of that groundwork laid. We don't know a lot. What do you guys think of the cover? Let's start with the cover.
Good, because I have much to say about this.
I also
the cover.
But let's hear Jimmy first.
For starters, I have never been a fan of blue and yellow. I am now a fan of blue and yellow because that logo is
good,
awesome. It's good. So good. The fact that you got the Jedi Order symbol in the background, it's giving like Skyrim Sovereign Guard vibes with like the mountain range and the nice night sky. And you have a really interesting cast of characters there on the front. I want to know so much more because this cover is so inviting. It's so different, but it's Star Wars. You're like, what is this? I need to know what this is.
I like the way you kind of have the very pretty landscape at the bottom that opens up to these kind of like ominous mountains behind it.
Yeah, I'm so drawn to it.
I don't know. I know that I
Okay.
like it, but I know Ben is the wise master of the group. So
Indeed,
Ben, what do you
indeed.
think?
You
of the
guys are
cover?
Disney shills. I've enjoyed High Republic up until this point. This cover makes me lose all hope in the future of High Republic. I'm abandoning the
All the
series. I will never read anything from High Republic. No, but seriously though, triple A for the art, C- for the cover designer.
Okay.
Maybe my eyes are different or wrong. There's something going on with this particular cover, and now not being sarcastic anymore. Seriously,
Yeah.
it is a brilliant art piece that occupies literally like 1/4 of the entire cover, and the rest is empty. That Jedi logo is not doing anything for that space. So just spatially, I'm looking at it, it's like, who positioned this art piece? I think honestly, like I get the whole premise artistically, idea-wise, because it's about this greater scope of the living force and all of these, all of the unknowable factors about it that these Jedis just don't understand. All these forces at play, which are incomprehensible to both Jedi and the Sith, right? Because the force is greater. I get the concept, but visually, I believe, again, as just one person talking, it's my only nitpick about this cover, because I love it, is that they need to be blown up more. They need to be centerpiece of this art. They're so small in there. I'm like, what's going on? So that was a really odd graphic design choice for me. Maybe somebody in the group could add something to the discussion. But other than that, I agree with you guys. It looks beautiful. So Josh, let me ask you, the blue color scheme change indicates this is not officially going into phase 2, right?
Yes, this is the first official phase 2 cover. It looks like it's going to go blue.
Yeah, I also believe that also caught my attention immediately. I thought it was pretty well done, like signaling visually, like, hey, we're going. And before talking about the contents and giving our impression what it's going to be about, just the title itself, I read it, Path of Deceit. Well, there is another little Star Wars book back in the day, Path of Destruction, Dark Bane.
Mm-hmm.
And the High Republic has been sort of referencing, kind of like going in the past and giving nods to the Old Republic, right? The Knights of the Old Republic.
You were deceived.
Right, you were deceived. Correct, right? So I'm thinking to myself, hold on a second, if there is more in this particular title, because they got to be aware, right? They know what has been published before. What if there's also a nod here in this book that leads into something that's like, hey, Bane is canon. He is in the Clone Wars series. What if he's mentioned in this book?
That's a good point.
Trust me, I got plenty of information for you.
Oh.
It has nothing to do with Bane. But
where are you going?
Oh, damn it.
I'll say because I kind of pretty much memorized everything about this book when it was announced. So because you got your 3 main characters there in the book, you got a new Pantoran Jedi Padawan. The character in the center is someone that's just called the Mother.
Yeah, she's like the leader of the cult.
So we can jump on that idea. And
John,
then we have
Jim, but do me a favor. I'm sorry to cut you off. Do me a huge favor. If it has anything to do with Mark and Bro, please don't mention it, because I'm in the middle of reading this one. Okay. I'm behind on my reading. I'm sorry, guys.
No, the only thing I will say, the third character there, her name is Marta Ro. That's all we know.
Oh, we don't know. We don't know
anything about her.
We don't know anything. Cool. This is what we know so far. So the character in the center, the Mother, is the leader of an extremist group called the Path of the Open Hand. They believe that no one should be using the Force. No one at all. But in classic YA fashion, the plot thickens when a member of this extremist group falls for the Jedi Padawan. It's classic YA Star Wars.
They're going with Romeo and Juliet.
Probably. So, but my thing was like, you got the Mother, someone who's called the Mother. We've seen that before. Right. You got Mother Talzin, but the Mother, which leads to Mortis, which leads to the father, the son, and the daughter, which leads to Abeloth. I don't think it's gonna go that far, but I mean, Abeloth would be cool. But I just think, like, you got those subtle hints. You got Path of Deceit. That sounds like Path of Destruction. You have the Mother, very familiar character.
I will tell you, because we'll have conversations here as this group, and I'll be making some videos on the channel as well about what I want to see them do differently in phase 2, and what I think would be successful, and what I think they can learn from phase 1. So we won't go too deep there, but what I will say to the first point, I absolutely love they're going blue. Blue kind of feels more retro to me, so I love the fact that they're kind of going back to blue and white. I think it's really cool. Blue, white, and gold is a really good combo. I think from like a display purposes, if you're just a collector who likes putting these on your shelf, I think you're going to be really pleased to see that kind of distinction between the eras. I think that'd be really kind of fun. So I hope they lean into that. Number one. Number two, to your point, about Jimmy, about what we know about the story. I always do. It is a young adult novel, so I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the YA novel, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the first YA novel, first book announced, really.
So for me, the that will probably dictate what kind of story they tell. But I am going to go really open minded with the what kind of plot they're gonna experiment with. With the 150 years backwards, back in time from where we are right now. I mean, that is such a void that, I mean, the stories we could hear here might not be related at all to the first phase. There might be like some little like Easter eggs, like, oh, hey, they're talking about this. Remember that from, the Drangear, right? There might be some references to the Drangear back in their prime. I couldn't remember the name or something like that, right? And maybe the Sith working along with the Drangear. We might hear those kind of references, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's like barely any character connections besides maybe character nods. Like,
well, I think.
Sorry.
No, I want you to finish that.
Well, we have the Blade of Bardot, right?
Bardata.
Bardata, who's going to have his own series. So he's an older alien species. But I don't think that's going to be the norm. I think it's going to be kind of, more of the fringe characters. So we'll have to wait and see. They have their own panel at Star Wars Celebration for Phase 2. And at the end of the High Republic show, they were like, there'll be a lot of reveals at the Star Wars Celebration panel. So we're probably going to learn a lot more details in about a month.
And one thing about that, so you said ties to characters, probably not. But there is a pretty cool story intro. I don't remember if this is from a book or a comic, but at one point, Stellan Gios does say he was looking through old records from the planet of Dalna, and most of the records, strangely, were deleted.
Is it Fallen Star? Or is it Midnight? Is that Trail of Shadows? I know what you're talking about.
We could just name all the books until we get it.
Well,
I don't know. When I was looking through it, there was no source for where it came from.
I thought it was in Wave 3.
It probably is, but the fact that you mentioned that, why was it deleted? This might give us that answer.
That's cool. That'll be
so. That is cool.
But what was the planet? Well, we don't. I'm not going to name any more spoilers because I was going to ask a question about Eye of the Storm, which Ben is.
I'm trying to be very careful about it because I don't want to ruin Ben's life.
So we will put a pin in that. For now. But long story short, we had our first little reveal yesterday. They also introduced us to the authors. Seem like some nice people. So more to come. I'm a fan of the new logo, the retro vibes. And again, I'm expecting we get a whole new wave of announcements in just a couple weeks. We are on the verge of like huge announcements. We have Kenobi. We have like multiple panels. We're probably going to have We're going to have a Visions panel. We're going to have a Bad Batch panel. We're going to have a maybe a Tale of the Jedi. We're going to have, it's just going to be like, oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. I'm very excited. But one more thing to talk about today about something that is taking up our time right now. And that's Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. I mean, we are eating good right now for Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
I'm going to start off by just saying I have played less Star Wars than I wish I played more. I'm probably going to play right after this stream is done because I'm trying to 100% this game. I want to get every special brick, every special mini kit, everything. I want to have every character unlocked. So I'm going to try to put so many hours into this game. But I finally moved on to Empire Strikes Back. I've been taking forever going through New Hope. I think the game is phenomenal. I think the amount of little Easter eggs there for fans. I'm playing it with my wife, and we're having just a blast going through it. And it feels so lovingly crafted. I think a lot of us were afraid that with the delays, it was going to come out in just a terrible state. But it seems they actually used that time to really just put in a ton, from like obscure characters like Mr. Bones to I think some general like really actually funny moments they add in these. To updated graphics. I've been really impressed and I'm absolutely loving it. Star Wars games have been phenomenal over the last couple of years. So keep up that work. I know both of you are playing it. Ben, let's start with you. What are you thinking about Skywalker Saga?
I'm loving it. I started kind of like wanted to connect it into my channel and I did 2 of those, but because I don't have the means to record with camera, like I don't have the setup to do it. I was just doing audio. And then we talked about this a little bit off screen, is that you're trying to get a little bit of viewership and all these giant Titan Star Wars channels are just stomping all over you. It's just like, there's no way to get anywhere with like viewership on this. And then it all comes back to having fun. I'm like, dude, stop stressing out over your YouTube channels. Like you have plenty of stuff that you do, like book reviews and stuff like that. Just enjoy the freaking game. So I'm still pretty much where I left off in my last video, I'm still playing through the Phantom Menace. Just like I do all my marathons, I actually don't watch them in their release order. I watch them, watch chronologically, starting with prequels.
Respect.
Yeah. So every time, dude, every time. So with this one, I can't tell you how many like warm and happy feelings I get just traversing, because it's also memories of playing the first Phantom Menace game on PS1. And like the whole Naboo piece was like kind of weird, you know, it was quirky and child oriented, like with giant mushrooms and jumping around, like these stupid creatures are coming out of nowhere that weren't in the movie. So playing the Lego version of it, it just puts you in, it's like the sweetest memories that you had, the best memories of the prequels, all cramped in into one experience, and like playing it. The only thing I wish that they had difficulty for adults, like if you lose at a certain point in the level, they throw you way back to the beginning. Yeah, because it almost feels like you put infinite coins. Like, you don't die in the game. You just
right. Like it is.
It very much. The difficulty is in finding the secret areas, and I say difficult, like
it basically stuff and getting everything. Yeah,
it's a time. The difficulty is like, can you commit time and like attention to detail?
Yeah, but the game is just a marvel. It's so, like you said, it's so beautifully correct. The attention to detail for me, just to walk around Naboo is like I'm playing with Jar Jar, like I'm going around and like I'm jumping in the pond right now. And the only thing I have so far that I could criticize, the pod racing scene was so cool. I want it to be longer. So when I get to this, like fighting the walkers and Empire Strikes Back or other ship control things, I want them to be longer. Do you guys know by any chance if they expand on it or no?
I do not. I've tried to keep spoiler free on a lot of those. The only ones I've played is the AT-AT Walker myself. So
was it short or was it like a longer piece?
It's not super long. Although I spent a lot of time in the ship trying to find all the secret bricks and stuff. So I made it pretty long. I made it pretty long flying around the map. So
I'm right up with Josh. I just started Empire like yesterday or the night before, and I'm not past the first part of that mission because I'm trying to get True Jedi and find all the fun. I'm taking my sweet precious time with it, and it took me till like a couple days ago to realize, you know, with the original Lego Star Wars games, you had their hubs. You know, you had the cantina or the diner. That doesn't exist in this game. You just free roam the planet, which is insane. And I came into work, I was like, so Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, is the Elden Ring of Lego games.
It is, yes.
They're like, is it that hard? I was like, no, the game is huge.
It's expansive,
ridiculous. Now, it is pretty difficult because you got so much hidden stuff to find. Yeah. And if you don't, you can easily walk right past it.
Yes, you can.
Like, it's not like the classic games where stuff like glows, like, hey, use the Force on this.
Yeah.
If it glows, it's either you can use the Force or you could build it. You don't really know. You really got to try to like relearn these games, and it's incredible. But, you know, I was a little iffy about it because I'm used to my Lego characters just grunting at each other. I don't mind the dialogue because it's true dialogue from the movies. Like it fits perfectly. I have a friend at work who has never seen Star Wars. He's not big into it.
Yeah.
He likes The Mandalorian. He told me, he said, I think I'm going to get the Lego Star Wars game as my first experience of Star Wars. And I was like, really? That's amazing. And so he's playing through episode 1 right now, and I'm back. He's playing through episode 1. He thinks it's incredible. I'm the dumb one. I started with episode 4 because I didn't know you could start on episode 1, 4, or 7. I thought everything was locked. I was like, all right, well, here we go.
I started on 4 as well.
Jim, I have one comment, actually. It's very interesting that you brought this story with this fan. I was remembering this scene when you go to Anakin's home, and they try to figure out with Qui-Gon Jinn everything they need to do in order like to win the race. They basically crammed several dialogues from the Naboo part of the movie into one, and it's so effective. It's like it's the cliff notes.
It is the cliff notes.
It's dramatic. It's well delivered. Like it puts you right in there. It's so well done.
And I think it helps because if he goes to watch the movies, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, that line. Oh yeah, that line."
Yeah.
And they know when to put the jokes in there. It's not over the top. Like finding the secret stormtroopers in the hot tub is funny, but
it is funny
when Vader's like, "A presence I haven't felt since." Yes. No, that's not it.
No. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. No, it's not.
I happen to be a huge fan. So I think the Lego movie and the Lego Batman movie are phenomenal animated movies. I think they're completely underrated. The Lego movie is like probably one of my most like quoted and memed. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Ben. It's phenomenal. It's so
actually forgot that it existed.
It's so funny.
It's on the second one, right? The Star Wars Lego movie.
No, I mean like the actual Lego movie, like when they made like their standalone.
I was thinking, wait, there is a Star Wars
There
Lego
are-
movie I didn't see. Like,
They're straight to DVD. They're like straight to DVD ones. But the actual like theatrical release Lego movie and Lego Batman movie are both just phenomenal.
Yeah,
they're so
phenomenal.
funny.
I've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm cool with the Lego humor. Like they know how to use it, I think, in a really subtle, inviting way. You know, for me, one thing I would say for those who haven't got it yet, what I've decided to do is I was doing what Jimmy was, and I was like trying to go through and like get every single thing. And I was like, you know what? I was like, let me beat everything, so unlock every mission and a lot of the characters, and then I'm gonna do free play to find all like the deep dive stuff with all the new characters I've unlocked.
Yeah, finding those mini kits is no joke.
No, it's not. The mini kits are a pain. Some of them
because
are
like
hard
I
to
remember
find.
in the original games, I could get like 4 or 5 of them on my first playthrough for every mission. I found maybe 3 of them.
Agreed.
So let me ask you one more thing, guys, because you obviously invested more time than I did. One thing that I really wanted to get out of the game is when you go beyond the story missions, when you start collecting things, right? Are there any kind of like NPCs that have at least tiny little bit of kind of like mini stories? That's like, hey, if you do this for me, this will happen. And they talk in like a little cinematic, and then you accomplish it, you move on.
You know?
Side missions, basically.
They do have side missions because there's a whole section in the menu called side missions with dial. But
Right,
I haven't.
but is there any story attached to them, like even minuscule?
I don't know. I really don't.
Oh, okay.
There is a lot of NPC dialogue though.
Mm.
A lot
More so than any other one, if I recall.
I know.
Jimmy.
I know. The one that sticks out to me the most was, and I don't think it would follow a story, but there was one NPC that sees one of the little glowing bricks that you're supposed to collect, and it's like, you see that over there? I want to know how to get to that because I want to know what that is, and it just gives you the idea. Hey, there's one up there. You got to figure out how to get.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you hyped me up. I think after this, I'm gonna go play some Lego.
I think.
I'm gonna do it too, man. Because like, let me tell you, like free roaming through Mos Eisley was insane.
It is very
like
cool.
it felt like I was playing the OG Battlefront 2, like the Heroes versus Villains map of Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it felt like. It's big.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's really it's lovingly made. I think that's the best way. That's the best compliment I can give it. Is I really actively enjoy being in the world and
for everyone on Reddit that was asking about a mod to get rid of the sequel trilogy, I found it. You open the game and you hit Alt F4, uninstall because you don't deserve to play it.
Even if like
that.
Even if you don't like the sequel trilogy, which you guys know I'm not a huge fan of, like I still like to play games. So I'm still gonna want to play it, and like there's some cool character designs in the sequel trilogy,
and there's so much hidden content too. Like you get unique dialogue between certain characters.
Yeah. So like Ben, I don't know if you know this, but like if you like when you're in free play, let's say you summon Darth Vader, and then you also summon like Luke, and you let him sit there idle, they'll like talk to each other like little one-liners, and they have like little joke. Like, so if you leave like Palpatine standing there, if you're Palpatine, like he'll like kind of stand there and then he'll drop like a gold lightsaber out of his back pocket and be like, and like pick it up really quick, like that kind of stuff.
I had the one with Qui-Gon Jinn because I'm trying to play with the hero that is supposed to be in that episode. Yeah. So I'm playing with Qui-Gon Jinn. I want to get the most out of him before he is disassembled into little tiny Lego pieces. I'm playing with him, and he's just also standing there. He's like, he starts like twirling the sword with Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was like, this is so cute, man.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
So yeah, when Luke gets the lightsaber, it's your father's lightsaber.
Yeah.
I know. It's bro, like looking down the barrel of it, like, it's classic.
Yeah,
classic. Well, I hope everyone who's had a chance to play is having as much fun as we are. It's been a nice little couple weeks because we had a lull there for a while with nothing really Star Wars related, but I think it re-energizes you a little bit. You know, we have Kenobi, we have Star Wars Celebration, we have a new game, so it's been a good little break. Well, those are the main topics I had to talk about tonight. Let's go around the table and see if there's anything else to discuss. Ben, down to you. Anything on your mind this wonderful week?
So, guys, I brought this up already. Again, this is not a plug. It has nothing to do with being a Disney show. I finally got back to I finally got back into this, and I don't remember what the general agreement was on this particular title, what the reviewers were saying. I kind of forgot, and it's a blessing. So I know a lot of people are saying that this particular book, like, oh, you know, it's not all that.
Not my favorite.
Yeah, I can see the Midnight Horizon. Some fans are saying, oh, it's my least favorite one. Well, this one, I don't even remember. Just getting back into High Republic and reading it, I'm all in. There's a couple of new characters in here specifically for the story. Just enjoying Star Wars at my own pace and finally feeling like back on the horse. it feels nice, man. Feels when you're not rushing things just to review them for your channel. It's the best place to be, man. Same thing I'm gonna do with Lego. You guys kind of like encouraged me too. I'm like, if I'm not enjoying recording it, at the very least, I can just enjoy the game for right
enjoy playing it.
And I think that's the message from all of us, right? From our podcast, the way that we've been like interacting with Star Wars content. Guys, just don't take it all too seriously. Have a blessed moment of just sit down. Josh, you're playing with your wife. Jimmy, you're playing with your girlfriend. I'm playing here, like having a good time. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the experience.
And it's hard too, because like even the other night I was aiming to just have fun. And then I instantly saw something that I wanted to make a short for. And I was like, I'm trying to relax. And I went straight into work mode.
Yeah.
It happens without you even realizing it.
It does.
Yeah, agreed.
It's hard. And I think one thing, and for folks who know the channel, like I haven't done a book review in probably a month now, partially because I've been so busy in my other life. I haven't had time. And you're right, Ben. I mean, I've rushed stories just to say I finished them so I could put a review out. Yeah. And it does limit your enjoyment because you're doing it under you have to just grind through it. So I would encourage, and that's one of the reasons I'm excited for some of Jimmy and I's kind of upcoming projects. We're going to do some like less time sensitive things, less like current trending topics, and more stuff in the past we're really excited to look at, including one thing I've been doing recently, and I'm going to start making videos on this. I'm watching a ton of behind the scenes making of Star Wars footage right now. I want to do like a weekly segment of just like behind the scenes, like a look at like the creative choices and things like that. And so a couple years ago, about 7 years ago, I think it was released on the official Star Wars YouTube channel. They put out like a 60-minute behind the scenes making of the Phantom Menace. And it is like a documentary, but there's no narrator. So there's no voice like when George took the helm, and yet it's like it's just clips of the behind the scenes footage they have.
All B-roll footage.
Yeah, it's all B-roll footage, and it's absolutely fascinating and so invigorating to watch George work on the Phantom Menace. Like I just get such a like, oh man, and I'm gonna make videos talking about it, but like watching the work they put into the sets and the casting process and all of these ideas that he was having, and like even how he talks about like the final battle between like the Gungans and the droids. He's talking about like, this is going to be one of the biggest battles we've ever seen on screen, and it's going to blow people away. And, you know, he's like, it's just like makes you smile, like pulls you back in. And so I've been loving that. And I'm definitely want to make some content about that on the channel.
And literally like my favorite thing about that is like the beginning, he goes to his office. He's like, all right, got a full pad of paper, brand new box of pencils. And he just leans back and goes, now all I need is an idea.
Yeah.
This is when you miss George the most, when you're reminded of the mastermind, the genius behind it. And every time I look at those behind the screens, and guys, again, me as a 18-year-old who was like gearing up to see Phantom Menace in theaters, there was so much in the media of the making of, the mythological motifs, so much stuff was on TV before the movie. The hype was just, I will never forget it. That was the best thing about the Phantom Menace, the hype. And just watching this again, it makes it a little bit heartbroken.
It does make me a little sad, but because you're right, it was such a, we've talked about a lot, and we're gonna visit this topic many times more in the future, I'm sure. But there was that energy when the prequels came out. We've talked about it before, and it was probably some of my favorite, time of being a Star Wars fan. It was, it was young and exciting and fresh. And I remember when Doritos had a promotion where they had little tiny like holographic puzzle pieces of the Clone Wars characters, and you'd hold them up to like you'd hold them up to like the mirror or the like fan light, and they would look like three-dimensional when you moved them. And I missed that like simpler time. Gogurt, you guys know Gogurt? They had lightsabers.
Yes, for Attack of the Clones.
And they would reenact the whole Coliseum scene where like they had
their mom comes in, there's just paper flying everywhere.
Yeah. I remember that. It was a good time. It was, and so rewatching those making of projects is just, it makes you want to work on movies. You're like, golly, I want to get involved in making movies. But two, you see, and we'll kind of wrap up with maybe this thought. One of the reasons I'm considered like, oh, you're a shill, or you're so positive, yada yada. It's like, I know how much work people put into these projects, and how much like hope, and like you hear George talking about Jar Jar, and he thought he hit gold. Okay, like he didn't think like, oh, this is gonna ruin the fandom and people are gonna hate him. He was like, this is the funniest character I've ever put in Star Wars. I mean, that was literally like verbatim the quote. he thought he hit gold. And you see all the love and care. And even if it doesn't work for us, it doesn't mean you should love everything. Because, for example, I don't like the Rise of Skywalker or The Last Jedi, but I know a lot of people put their acting, their editing, their film, like so much work went into that.
Can you just cut me short right here, and can I just say my goodbyes? Because you said something about The Last Jedi that I can't live with.
Whatever.
But you guys know what I mean. Like, I see the work, and I have a very hard time just being like, yeah, I didn't like it, but like these people aren't like dirtbags. They just had a different idea than I did, and maybe it wasn't executed well. Maybe objectively it wasn't executed well, but it doesn't mean that they did it maliciously or they just tried and it didn't work out. So
and everyone comes from a good place.
And that's one of the reasons I'm really excited for Andor, having seen nothing. It's just seeing the excitement from Diego Luna. He's so excited to have the role back and to be doing the show. And I'm like, I'm in.
I'm excited.
Yep.
Let's wrap it up there, guys. What a fun Thursday night. That was a lot of fun. A lot of topics to talk about tonight. I think we are on the verge of the next month and a half of just huge Star Wars moments, upcoming projects, and Kenobi. One of the biggest, probably I'd say the biggest thing since The Force Awakens in Star Wars, as in the excitement is going to be that high. It's kind of my feeling.
I did want to add one tiny thing.
Get in here. Yeah, absolutely.
I got my mail call last week. I started reading Queen's Hope.
I got that one too. Yeah,
I like that cover a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the back is amazing.
Oh, so you finished the first two, right?
I did finish the first two. Now, this is actually art. This isn't a picture.
Yeah.
I really I struggled with Queen's Shadow. And when I finished it, I literally put the book down and said, I did not give this book the attention it deserved. And I was kind of like sad with myself. I was like, this book was genuinely good and I struggled with it so hard. So when Queen's Peril came out, I read it in 2 days.
Nice.
Not only that, but this also adds to my collection because now I have a custom signature from E.K. Johnston. Woohoo!
Oh, that's nice. Cool. What cover did you have for Queen's Peril? Weren't there 2 covers?
So I believe Queen's Shadow and Queen's Peril both got alternate covers. I got the base cover for all 3. Okay. I don't know much about the Queen's Peril cover. I know the alternate cover for Queen's Shadow was I think it was a Comic-Con exclusive, but it was later released as paperback. But hardcover is an exclusive.
I like the, I'd like those books just for display purposes, even though I don't read them because I really like that cover.
They're pretty.
Queen's Hope is really pretty.
Yeah, they're really fun stories.
Cool. All right, guys. Everyone in chat, thanks for being here. We appreciate all your thoughts and comments. Again, the idea of these is literally we're just 3 friends getting together on Thursday night and talking about the latest news of the week. And so we hope you guys are having a good time with it as well. Let us know down below. Make sure you like and subscribe. And thanks for being here and continue to support the channel. Make sure you check out Ben's as well if you haven't already. Star Wars Explored. I'm sorry, my man. I'm sorry. It is bad timing. But we appreciate you stopping by anyway.
You're a real one for that, I promise.
Okay, last story before we leave. Okay,
so give him one.
Dr. Disrespect was like streaming one day, and I saw this on on Reddit of Eclipse, and so he's about to wrap up the stream, and like someone donates like $50, and they're like, I just got home and I can't wait to like put my feet up and watch like 5 hours of the 2-time champ, and you see Dr. Disrespect just kind of just look at it, just like, oh no, I gotta find the clip. It's great. It is absolutely great. But thank you guys seriously for being here. If you came in late, go watch the beginning. Give us your thoughts on Vision Season 2 and some of the other projects coming soon. Until next time, guys, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again very soon.
Take care, everyone. See you guys.